What is it, Bill?
Urgent call for you. In the office.
Well, he's obviously very keen.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
Well, I'm only too delighted that Alan Rockwell wants to use our powerboats as prestige outboardings. Especially when he's willing to pay so much for the privilege. But it's Relton I'm concerned about at the moment, not Confederated Industries. Have you seen the news this morning?
Charles Freer and Co.
And knowing Charles, now he's been acquitted, he's not going to leave it at that.
Well, then we're going to need something to impress your supporters. Like I've been telling you all along, Avril, this boat could be a well-beater.
You're absolutely sure about that, aren't you?
Positive. I can't say I'm keen to be Relton's only standard-bearer.
Oh, you're not the only one, I can assure you. But you might be one of the more visible. When can you take delivery?
If you sign that contract today, tomorrow. I can do it, Avril. I just need someone to give me the chance.
All right, Leo. You've got it.
Get up! On the beat now, Come on, wish me love or wishing well, to kiss and tell her wishing well, a butterfly tears. Come on, and wish me love or wishing well, to kiss and tell.
Wake up, Debbie. We need help with this hair. Quickly, please. She's on next, all right?
Clarissa, stand by.
You look terrific. Remember, stare them in the eyes.
Go!
Ariana actually seems impressed.
Yeah, so far.
Ah, how was the cruiser?
Absolutely fine. Hey, why all the secrecy? I had Tom's office to myself.
Well, I was trying to be discreet, Ken. How's Laura not with you?
No. Stopped over at Wild Mouldings. I do hope all this conspiracy is going to be worth it.
Oh, I think it will be. Now that you're finally going to meet my uncle, he said he'd be delighted to discuss business with you when he's next down from the city.
Hey, that's great. Does Laura know who your uncle is?
No, of course not.
I think it's probably better to keep it that way till I've spoken to him.
Certainly, if that's what you'd prefer. Oh, Ken, there was another call I meant to tell you about. From America. Robert Hudson. He said he'd like you to call him back. He'd be at the head office of Nielsen Holdings for the rest of the day with Sir Edward Freer.
Oh, right. Thank you. I'll deal with that in my office.
Oh, OK.
Well, I think this calls for something extra special. Why don't you choose the wine, John?
Oh, that's very kind of you, Charles. And by the way, since congratulations are in order, let me say that you two put up a splendid performance, both of you. After all, the prosecution had some pretty red-blooded things to say.
Your support was absolutely vital.
Oh, I'm inclined to agree with you, Charles. So, what about the Chateau Lafitte 66, eh? All you needed was a really good QC, and you certainly had that. The young lady's going far, in my opinion.
Yeah, somebody else said virtually the same thing to me this morning. Nevertheless, I'm very grateful to you for your testimony.
We should always rely upon our friends in time of trouble, shouldn't we, Charles?
Oh, yes, quite. And you can rest assured that several friends have expressed the view that when the time is right, there's only one contender for the bank's chairmanship.
So should damn well hope. Well, I shall look forward to the outcome with interest. Gerald, you're very quiet. Is there nothing the matter?
I think he's feeling a little windswept today.
Charles means that I favoured a breathing space after the court case, and he didn't.
And you don't believe in court cases interfering with your objectives, do you, Charles?
I certainly do not. And I managed to convince Gerald that what we need right now is action, not sighs of relief.
Such as?
Well, A few months ago, we were invited by a consortium in the Mediterranean to participate in a marine development there.
John, do you know a gentleman by the name of Eckhart Sahn?
The banker? Only too well.
Sahn represents the consortium. After his initial interest in Freer Holdings becoming a member, he now seems somewhat reluctant to go ahead with the negotiations.
Well, I'm not surprised. He's probably got cold feet at your bad publicity.
Yes, I've already taken that into account, but I was also rather wondering whether you might not be aware of any other reasons.
I see. Well, put it this way. Usually, he's only the piper. He doesn't necessarily call the tune.
Are you saying he doesn't make the decisions?
Oh, yes. But in association with others.
Who, for instance?
All I can tell you, Charles, is that you should be very careful of Sahn. He's a very, very tricky customer.
Here we are.
Thanks.
Oh, Dad, I thought you'd have cleared your desk by now. In fact, I thought you asked me over here to read your literary masterpiece.
Yeah, well, you can read it when it's finished. Hey, don't do all that. It's all in a kind of order.
Oh, sorry.
Dear, oh, dear.
Here.
Thank you.
Hey, where'd you find this? This photograph of Mum? I haven't seen it for 10 years. Is this what it's all about? Come on, Dad.
Yeah, well, I suppose this digging into the yard's history has brought it all back to me. And it's mainly to do with your mother. I'd forgotten how much I depended on her in those early years. And how much little time or thought I gave to her. Her life must have been hell.
Well, maybe it was. But she wouldn't want you to go on tormenting yourself like this. Hey, and what about the good times? And don't tell me there weren't any, because I can remember them.
Yeah. There were a few, weren't there? But
What?
Well, I just can't get rid of this awful feeling that I let her down.
No, you didn't. Not really. Has this got anything to do with Vanessa?
Yes, it has.
Well?
I'm becoming very close to her, Avril.
Do you love her, Dad?
Yes. Yes, I think I do.
Good. You've been on your own for far too long.
I know. That's what worries me.
Ken, there is absolutely no way that I'm flying out to Geneva this evening and Malta tomorrow morning without knowing exactly what I'm getting myself into.
Coffee.
Yes, just put it down there, will you, please?
Shall I pour?
No, that's all right, Vicky, we can manage. So who gave you the introductions?
Did you get the plane ticket?
Oh, yes, he's going to bite them round to you at 4 o'clock.
Wonderful.
Who gave you the introductions?
Sir Edward Freer and Robert Hudson.
Well, I am impressed. You have a powerful circle of friends.
Well, I wouldn't call them exactly friends. I did a bit of business with them in the past. They owe me a couple of favours, you know.
You know, somehow that sounds suspicious.
They wouldn't have given us the introductions unless it wasn't all above board. There is nothing to be concerned about, believe you me.
What about this banker in Geneva?
Muller.
You say he's an associate of Eckhart Sahn.
And Xavier Fernandez. A perfect setup, wouldn't you say?
Just so long as we're not being set up.
Oh, I don't walk into traps, Laura.
I do hope you're right. After the evidence you gave, I'd say you're pretty high on Freer's hit list.
Yes, probably.
And yet, you were so confident that the verdict would go against him.
Well, how was I to know they'd have Sir John Stevens in their back pocket? Chairman of Diacre Holders. There was no way he was chairman during the McLean Leisure Affair.
Well, the jury obviously thought he was.
Yes, no wonder. They'd have needed a road map to unravel Freer's offshore interest. Don't you worry about him. He's been trying to ruin me for years. And here I am, large as life.
He's a survivor, Ken.
Aren't we all?